Howdy and hello everyone, I'm the Coaster Critic and you're the viewer, and there are two reasons why I'm making this video. One, the end of the Coaster Critic Season 5, and two, it's Valentine's Day, and as we all know, Valentine's Day is the prime day for smashing. So, because my current attempts for getting that done aren't quite working, I'm instead going to look towards something I do know, roller coasters. And a video idea that I had while I was sitting in the shower doing literally nothing will now come to life in How Smashable is Every Single Coaster at Magic Mountain. Yes, you read the title correctly, and as you can tell, that's exactly what it's going to be about. So, going completely unscripted and in order of them being on RCDB, let's start with Apocalypse, the ride. Apocalypse is a GCI wooden coaster that is... It's good, it's not bad, but it's definitely better than everyone gives it credit for. Now, in terms of rideability, if you know what I mean, this ride would be pretty good. As the ride is, the actual ride Apocalypse, it's kind of rough, but it's a wooden coaster, so that's to be expected. So with all of these, just kind of put them into a smash state, and you pretty much have a pretty good ride. So, now on to the next coaster on RCDB's list. Batman the Ride, the one, the only, the cloned. Batman the Ride is a very fun ride. Unfortunately, I never really get time to ride this one because there are 20 coasters at this park, and as much as I love Batman the Ride, Twisted Colossus and Wonder Woman, which is right next to it, are so much better. So, like, this ride is great if it was a standalone, but the problem is it's submerged beneath a bunch of other better attractions that it's like, you can't really give this one any credit. But if one thing's for certain, Batman the Ride is intense. And in an in and out into the cup sort of situation, some people would like that. Am I saying my taste in this video? No, so you don't get to know whether or not this is good. But either way, I still give this a certified smash, because it's just a good ride overall, and yeah, I feel like this one would work. Don't even expect me to do Canyon Blaster, okay? On to the next one. Full Throttle. This ride, as we all know, and how people love to make jokes about it, yes, it is short in duration. It is a really short ride compared to everything else, and yeah, those trim brakes on the drop do really suck, because it's like, you feel like you're about to get an insane drop, and then you just get trimmed, and you're like, what the hell? But, essentially, this ride is good. It certainly is full throttle with that launch. You feel that top speed of 70 miles an hour on that launch. You feel every single mile per hour of that, and it is fun as hell. I personally think people don't give Full Throttle enough credit. People just always like to joke about how it's such a short ride, but in reality, even though it's really short, it is really fun in those short amount of seconds. And if my California's Great America review, I think I mentioned it in, is any indication, it doesn't matter how short a ride is, as long as it's fun in that duration, I will give it a good score. And what I'm referencing there is Railblazer, if you're wondering. So with that being said, if there's one ride that I'd be perfectly fine with blazing my rail, it would be Full Throttle. Because even though this ride is short, even though it's over before it seems like it's even started, which in Diving Rod Vanish form isn't really the most good thing, I still would give this ride an absolute smash. So, on to the next one. Gold Rusher. Well, this one... Gold Rusher is kind of weird. Like, Gold Rusher is okay. It's not bad, but it's not good either. In all of my most recent visits to Magic Mountain, I just kind of walked past this thing and thought, well, if I have time, I'll ride it. But I never really did ride it, because the thing with Gold Rusher is, like, it's next to so many good attractions, and you rarely ever have any reason to actually ride it unless you genuinely have nothing else to do. And the actual ride experience, when you're on it, especially if you're on it with some other people that you know, like friends or something, oh my god, this thing is the funniest experience you can possibly have. So it's good for the novelty of it, but would I give it a smash? Not really. I'll give this one a pass. Goliath is boring. It does nothing. It has one good moment, and it's over before it even started. Its drop is shallow as hell. It feels like you're rolling down a hill. I'm not a forces guy, as we've already emphasized, so this ride genuinely does nothing for me, and I think the last time I rode it was like genuinely more than a year ago at this point. That's how much I don't like this thing. It's 235 feet tall. How do you make a ride that's 235 feet tall this boring? Like, you have to genuinely try to make a ride that tall, that boring. But somehow Giovanola did it. There's a good reason why Giovanola is out of business now. Because, my God, this thing just wasn't good. And I don't know how it keeps getting a line. It has nothing good to it. People, what are you doing? Pass, if you couldn't already tell. I haven't even ridden Magic Flyer because I'm too tall to be allowed on it. So this is an obvious skip. New Revolution. New Revolution is sort of like Apocalypse, but it's not wooden. And it's older. New Revolution is like, yeah, I'll go on it. But just like Gold Rusher as well, I never really ever find the time to go on it, nor do I ever have a reason to go on it. Like, it's cool, and its chain lift makes an actually viable beat. But past that, there's nothing to it. It's a bunch of cool, nice little hills that, while they are fun, they don't provide any airtime, and they're just going up to go back down, then repeat the process. And the build-up to the loop is, like, so long, and it sort of builds anticipation, which is kind of cool, but, like, the loop, you don't even notice it, and then it's over, and then you just go through the rest of the ride and do basically nothing. This ride is good. It's good for the novelty. It's good for the history of it being the first ever roller coaster to have a modern vertical loop. But past that, it's just okay. I give this one a pass. My God, there are so many coasters at Magic Mountain that will have the same story here. Ninja's yet another ride that, again, I just can never find time to ride this thing. I rode it the one time, and not only has it been closed a bunch recently, but all the times that I have ridden it, it's like, it's just okay, and then I'm like, okay, that was a thing, and then I go and do something else, and then usually I actually just straight up forget about the experience. Like, I could not describe Ninja to you, because I've ridden it more than once, I just cannot actually describe it, because it's so average. And again, it's good for the novelty of having an old ride like Ninja. But honestly, there is nothing that good to the ride that actually makes me want to come back and say, yes, I want to ride Ninja. It's more like, I've got nothing else to do. Want to ride Ninja? That's what Ninja is. And because of this, despite the fact that it's got a okay layout with some okay forces, I will give this thing another pass. Dictionary. Pass. Move or cause to move in a specific direction. Change from one state or another condition to another. Go past or across. Spend or use up. Come to an end. Happen, be done or said. Passing on something like Riddler's Revenge. I hate this thing. We are moving on to the next ride. It's literally Roadrunner Express. Next ride. Scream! This video is getting kind of long, so I'm going to try and make these a lot shorter, so I'll sum up Scream in a simple few sentences. It says it's going to make you scream, but I have a lot of trouble believing that when every single person who I've ever known has ridden on this ride has genuinely said that this is one of the few coasters at the park they did not scream on. No, I'm not even kidding with that fact. If you have a ride named Scream and it fails to make you scream, I think we all know that it would not do well in the bed. So, yeah, this is a pass. Pass. Why would you even think I would even consider giving this a smash? When I roasted this thing by calling it a 400-foot tall family coaster, I was not kidding. This thing really is a 400-foot tall family coaster. It looks really big. It looks really cool and intimidating. And you'd think it would be amazing. But it's not. And in a person you're trying to give the old Railblaze treatment, yeah, I don't think, yeah, no, this is a pass. Oh my god, Smash. We all know Tatsu's getting the Smash, but here's why. My god, if you want a good flying coaster, the Tatsu has you covered. Tatsu is great all around. It's graceful in the beginning, and then it just hits you with that truly just intense part where you get just absolutely smashed into your seat. Nothing else compares, and no one else would compare if you were able to give this thing a truly dragon-like treatment. And yeah, I would love to fly at the speed of fear with this thing, because holy crap, Tatsu is good. Looks like we're gonna continue the Smash train with this next one, Twisted Colossus. This is the ride that I did the wonderful thing of lapping 7 times on my second ever visit to Magic Mountain. And goddamn, this thing is just so good. I don't care what you all say about the dueling feature. If it doesn't duel, it's not that good. Yeah, I can agree with you on that. But either way, this thing is still just beautifully amazing. I love this thing. And if one thing's for certain, this is a ride that carries on the legacy of another ride that was just as good before it. And yeah, I would like to get all twisted and colossal with this thing. Viper was supposed to be fun for tall people, but all Viper did on my most recent ride was make it hard to breathe, made me extremely confused afterwards, and made me question my life choices on the drop. Pass. It's literally just Magic Mountain decided that they don't want to fix Twisted Colossus' dueling feature, so they just made an entire another dueling coaster. That's pretty much the only roast I have for this ride, because past that, this is actually a really good ride. I would for sure give this thing a smash. It's fun, and it actually duels every single time, and while the restraints are the premier rise restraints, which, because of how tall I've gotten, they are really uncomfortable now for my shins, I can bear for the good layout of this ride, and yeah, I personally think that if this ride was physically smashable in real life, I would for sure take a good look and action at this ride. Wonder Woman Flight of Courage, the newest ride at Magic Mountain, and oh boy, is it a ride that, oh my god, I am so glad I replaced Green Lantern. I never rode Green Lantern First Flight, but I think we can all agree that this is so much better in its place. I don't even care that this is a clone of Jersey Devil just with an extended layout, because this thing is great. I don't know what anyone was saying about how Jersey Devil ran slow, or that this thing may have ran slow a bit, because this thing does not feel like it's running slow. This thing, as a man who's ridden Railblazer, this thing feels just a tad bit slower than Railblazer pacing-wise. This thing is so much better than people give it credit for. And yeah, I would for sure give this ride an absolute smash and a half, because this thing, oh my god, while it isn't my favorite in the park, Twisted Colossus still is the best. My god, this thing takes up at least a spot in the top 3, top 5-ish areas, because god damn, Wonder Woman is so good. And yeah, this thing is an absolute smash for sure. And now, last but certainly not least, X2. X2 is the famous 4th dimension coaster that gave Aerodynamics and Magic Mountain an absolute headache. Aerodynamics' headache was so bad, in fact, that it just straight up killed them. So yeah, this thing has a bit of a history, and not necessarily a good one. But the ride itself is pretty good. It is absolutely mental and insane, and that is great. Just the only issue I have with it is really janky. I know that there are rides that are jankier in the park, but for a coaster of its age and for a coaster with such a high status, no one really talks about, like, people will talk about how the outside seat is rough, but no one will talk about how this thing still reeks of aerodynamics transitions. So, yeah, this thing, it could be better, and I still do give it a smash because it's X2. I mean, like, come on, who the hell would not smash X2? At that point, you're just smashing it for the novelty of being able to say, I smashed X2, but X2 in general is still a good enough ride to warrant it, because while it may be janky and while it may absolutely destroy my legs on the final brake run for literally no reason, it's still a good ride. And with that, there is whether or not I would smash or pass every single coaster at Magic Mountain, also known as how smashable every single coaster at Magic Mountain is. Yeah, why I made this video, again, I said at the beginning of the video, because I genuinely have nothing else to upload, basically, and Valentine's Day. So, yeah, those are the two reasons why I'm making this video, because I still need to come up with ideas for Coaster Critic Season 6, and record said ideas. So, yeah, there's pretty much nothing else to say here, and yeah, so I was the Coaster Critic, you're the viewer, and I'll see you in the future. Goodbye, and I'm going to bed now because it's 10:16 p.m. and I'm really tired.